Esther, Joshua, Justin, Nasha. Thank you for joining. I'm glad to meet you all. I am Teacher Lindah, going to take you through mathematics. Previously, when we just a step back in our last engagement, we looked at decimal numbers. And what did we talk about decimal numbers? What did we talk about decimal numbers? Yes, Esther? Who can tell us what we talked about decimal numbers? Lynette, Nasha? Oh, Lynette's hand is up. Lynette, you can tell us.
We talked about place values of decimal numbers.
Good. And what do you remember about it? Place value of decimal numbers. When they say decimal numbers, what comes in your mind? Samantha, yes? Your hand is up. You can tell us.
Decimal numbers are numbers that have a decimal point in the middle of the number.
That's what she recalls. That's good. Esther, what else about decimal numbers still? Place values of decimal numbers.
Excuse me, Teacher Lindah. I was not here when we were talking about that.
Okay. All right. Those ones who have joined us, and this is your first engagement in primary 5. Previously, we began a very simple subtopic in our mathematics course. It's just a small unit. And this was about place values of decimal numbers. And we went ahead and said that decimal numbers have a point, and when that point shows us divides that number into two parts. We have the numbers after the point and the numbers before the decimal point. And the numbers after the decimal points, those are the numbers at the right hand. And we said that those numbers, when we are giving them place values, we start from 10ths, whereas the ones before the decimal point, when we are giving them place values, we start from 1s. And these are the whole numbers. So that's what we looked at briefly. We are going back. I'm going to share my screen. And today we are going to look at values. We also looked at reading these decimal numbers, and I hope each one of us right now can read a decimal number. And those ones who have just joined us in this engagement, I'm sure that by the time we complete, you'll be in position to read the decimal numbers without reading them the funny way, but you'll be able to read them correctly and clearly. So I'm going to share my screen and take you through what we are going to look at today. We are going to concentrate on the values of how to get values for decimal numbers, and what each decimal place or each place value represents and how we can use it. Remember previously when you looked at whole numbers, to get the value we multiply a digit times its place value. It does not change. It is the same thing we are going to apply in decimal numbers, and we are going to get it fun. I hope each one of us can, because I heard you speak, so I hope you can hear me well. I'm going to share my screen and we are going to have a really good time together. Share my screen. My screen about it. But those ones who are in there, I know in this very lesson, I'll still move. Let me share. Just wait a little bit. Just a little bit. All right, now I hope everyone can see my screen. Nasha, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Lynette,
Yes.
Samantha,
Yes.
Buyinza, Buyinza, can you see my screen?
Yes, teacher.
Esther, can you see my screen?
Yes. Welcome to this teacher.
Joshua, can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
All right. And I hope now we are moving together. And I hope I explained to you clearly. Oh, this is just about your camp. My name is down there. I hope you can see it. This is how I write it sometimes, and I also write it in another way sometime. And that's my number. In case you're asking anything, you feel free to ask any question. Feel free to share your experience. Okay. And I hope I'm dealing with primary 5 and this is mathematics. Interest to them, values of decimal number. When we are looking for the value, we multiply digit times this value. And I have this first example here. Here is digit in, sorry, there is something missing here, and let me put, all right, put it there so I can share again. It says find the value of each digit in 1.11111. Okay, now those ones who aren't there with us the previous time, don't wonder so much why I'm reading each digit separately. That is the rule of decimal numbers. Whenever you're reading decimal numbers, the digits after the decimal point are read independently. Like you cannot put your name with some other name and some other person's name and say that you put it together. Like you cannot say house cup, no? So you will say that this is a house, a cup, separating those digits. So these digits here, whenever you're reading a decimal number, digits after the decimal point are read independently. They stand on their own. Everyone stands for a position. So you read them differently. Unless you are writing in Word, we shall see how to do it. And how we do it, we shall also see that. So here we have this example here. Find the value of each digit in 1.11111. The reason as to why I chose 1, it's because the answer remains the same way and it does not change. And this is going to help us because it is standard. It will help us know that, oh, when I have this digit, this is what happens. I use the table here and I want us to study it clearly. The first one here, I hope you can see my cursor move. The first one here, before the decimal. So to get its value, we say 1 times 1, which gives us answer 1. Now, when you move to the next one, immediately after the decimal point, it takes the 10th place value. And what we do, when we are looking at the 10th place value, or when you're looking at any place value, because we say that place value after the decimal point, we add there THS. That THS refers to, it takes you to a fraction. So when you're looking at 10ths, it is written as 1 out of 10. We shall study that more when we are looking at writing fractions, how to deal with fractions. We shall look at that more. We shall look at the details of that. But now briefly, when you're writing 10ths, it is written as 1 out of 10. I hope you can see here where we have 1, the digit, times 1 out of 10. Why is it 1 out of 10? Because THS simply takes a 1 out of. Now the 10 is the first word. Before you add on the THS is a 10. So your 10 will have only 1 0 because we all know how to write it. So when you multiply, basically what we do, this one multiplies the numerator. I hope we all know the numerator is the upper number. Remains the same denominator. So here we have 1 times 1. That's when we are looking at tenths. We have 1 times 1, giving us 1 out of this 10 here. But remember, it is a decimal number. So what we do, we change it into a decimal. So 1 out of 10. Simply, how to learn how to do this? Check your denominator has 1 0. Yes? And the number of zeros the denominator has, they help you identify the decimal places. They help you tell how many digits after the decimal point. For example, here we have 1 out of 10. This one helps you identify that you are only going to have 1 digit after the decimal point. And that is, when you change it to a decimal number, you'll have 0.1. And where is this one being got? 1 is got from the numerator. You put it there as 1. So if you find that now when you look at hundreds, the next digit, the place value of hundreds, that is the second one. The second one after the decimal point is under hundreds. So what we do, we multiply 1 times 1 out of 100 to represent its place value. So what do we get? When you multiply this whole number, this number here we have, times the numerator up here, we get 1 out of 100. How do we write it? We write it as 0 to stand for a whole number, 0.01. Why do we have 2 digits here? We have 2 digits because our denominator here, which is 100, is carrying 2 zeros. And I said that these zeros are going to help us so much when we are writing the decimal number. So your numerator is only 1 digit. So that digit there, remember the 0 after digits from 1 to 9 in decimals is not important. But the 0 before digits 1 to 9 in decimal numbers is very important. That one is called the place value holder. So what do we do to make the 2 digits? Because here 100 has 2 zeros, but the numerator has only 1 digit. So what we do, we get a 0 to replace to stand for a digit, and also add on our numerator to make the 2 digits after the decimal point. When you go to 1,000, that is the third one here, the third digit here. It's under the place value of thousands. So what we do, we multiply it by 1 out of 1,000. So when you multiply it by 1 out of 1,000, you'll get 1 out of 1,000. How do we write this in a decimal number? Remember, 1,000 has 3 zeros. That means we shall need 3 digits after the decimal point. But your numerator has only 1 digit. So what you do, you write 0.00, and these zeros are helping you to stand for the digit, to stand for that, to replace those decimal places where you don't have the digit. And later you put there your numerator, which is a 1. The same applies to 10,000 still. Still you multiply, when you have 10,000, still you come and count, how many zeros do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. That means my decimal number will have 4 digits, but my numerator is only 1 digit. So what I do, I use the 3 zeros to stand for the first 3 digits and a 1, which is my numerator. So when you count these ones here, the digits up
Excuse me, Teacher Linda.
Yes, teacher.
Sorry, my network has been disturbing, but let me share again my screen so that we can discuss more and discover more about the values. I told you one thing, I believe we are all going to be in position to, we are all going to be positioned to identify the value and how to get the values of decimal numbers. Around here, let me start from the 10,000s. So when you look, this one is the place value of the digit, of the fourth digit. It's the place value of the fourth digit in our number. So it carries the 10,000ths as its place value. And the 10,000s is represented by 4. It is a 1 and 4 zeros. So what we do, we multiply the digit by 1 out of 10,000s. When you multiply the numerator and this digit we have, you get 1 out of the 10,000. So to write this one in a decimal number, what we do, you bring your 0 to stand for a whole number. So it will be 0 point. Then you come, how many zeros does my denominator have? My denominator has 4 zeros. That means the decimal number will carry 4 digits after the decimal point. So what we do, we have only 1 digit for the numerator. So we shall use the 3 zeros to stand for the 3 places, and we shall add on our 1 to stand for the numerator we have to make 4 decimal places. So when you move here, we have the next digit, that is the 5th digit here. Its place value is 100,000ths. Sorry, there is something I missed here. It is 100,000ths. 100,000. So when you look at 100,000s, so what we do, you come and ask yourself, how many zeros does 100 have? 100 has 2 zeros. Plus, how many zeros does 1,000 have? 1,000 has 3 zeros. So when you put them together, you find that 100,000 will have 5 zeros. But this time around, we are dealing with 100,000ths. So what you do, that one is written as 1 out of 100,000. So when you multiply the numerator times this digit here, we have the digit which is 1, you get 1 out of 100,000. So for you to write this one in a decimal number, what you do, you write your 0 to stand for the whole number, point, don't forget the point always, point. Now you come and count. How many zeros do I have on my denominator? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. That means I need 5 digits after the decimal point. So what you do, check your numerator. The numerator has only 1 digit. That means you're going to use 4 zeros to stand for the 4 decimal places, and then you add on your denominator to make your numerator, sorry, you add on your numerator to make the 5 decimal places. This one here, when you understand only this, and I hope we've got it, it will help you find the value of different numbers. So let us try to apply it in another example. We have an example there, and I expect everyone to at least share with me. Let's find the digit in 72.8. So what you do here, now we are responding to a question in a paper. We are responding to a question in our exercise book on a piece of paper. We don't need to draw the other table there, no. Just come and summarize everything. That table can just be summarized in something very small, and that is how it may look like. The whole table of the other table we've looked at can all be summarized here, where you give each digit its place value. So we say, after writing the digits, make sure you leave that provision for a decimal point. Why do you leave it there? It helps you identify that these digits are after and these ones are before the decimal point. Digits before the decimal point. The nearest digit, the digit near the decimal point, the one that is just before the decimal point, it takes the ones place value. So when you look at it here, we have ones, then we also have tenths for the next digit. Then we come here, we have digits after the decimal point, we have 9, and 9 takes the tenths place value, and this is how it can be written in short. Capital T plus T, H, S. Then we have hundredths for 8, digit 8, and this is how it can be written. Briefly, it can be written as H, T, H, S, to stand for hundredths. So for us to get the place value of these digits here, what we do, we multiply a digit times its place value. I would have begun with 2 because it is ones and 9 it is tenths, but still it's the same thing here. So I'm going to give you one example here and we are going to look at the rest. So for us to get the value of 8, we shall say 8 times its place value, which is 100,000. Sorry, which is hundredths. So what we do, we multiply 8 times hundredths. How do we write hundredths? We write 1 out of 100 because 100 carries only 2 zeros. So it is written 1 out of 100. Oh, sorry. Let me share it from here. Let me share it from here. So when you write 8 times 1 out of 100, wait.
Excuse me, Teacher Lindah. Excuse me, Teacher Lindah.
Yes, please. Yes, please. You're excused.
If we don't have a pencil to draw that table, what should we use?
You can use a pen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You can use a pen. A pen can do it also well, as long as you're neat, because just mathematics requires a little bit of neatness. So when you are neat, you can do something good. I believe. And I hope you also believe the same thing, isn't it? Do you believe the same thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. As long as you have a pen,
Yes.
you have a ruler, and you are neat, you can do something good. So it doesn't matter what you use to draw this table. What matters is what you're going to put in the table. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, what matters is what you're going to put in the table, because you may draw it very well, design it, and later on you put something that is not right. Yes? So what matters is what you put in the table. That's what matters most. But what you put in the table matters. If you may make it so neat and still you don't put the right thing, that one does not matter. Yes? What matters is what you put. It's what you put, because they will ask, has she put the right thing? She has used a pen, but is what she has put right? That will be the question, yes? So it's okay, you can use anything.
So let me put my hand down.
Yes, please.
I was just putting my hand down.
All right. So anyone with a question before I start explaining how this number was done? Yes?
Excuse
Anyone
me,
with a
teacher, how
question?
comes? Yes.
Yes, please.
Excuse me, teacher, how comes you say 7 times 10 is equal to 20?
Yeah, I'm putting something right here. I just made a small mistake here, and I started it before explaining this work. That's why I first made my screen a little bit smaller so that I can electrify something. Have I answered you, my dear?
Yes, teacher.
Excuse me, teacher.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, please.
Excuse me, teacher. How do
You're
you get?
excused.
How do you get the decimal here?
Where there is 9, where there is which digit?
In between 2 and 9. How do you get that?
Between 2 and 9. Okay. So let me check. Okay. So from here, when you give place values to these digits here, yes? For you to get the value, multiply the digit times its place value. And when you look at 8 here, are we seeing 8? The place value of 8 is hundreds. So we write it as 1 out of 100. So when you multiply 8 times 1, you get 8 out of 100. How do we write it as a decimal point? We write 0 point. Now you're looking for the digits after the decimal point. Come here and check how many digits does your denominator have? Your denominator has 2 zeros. That means it will have 2 digits when you're writing the decimal number. So what we do, we write 0.08 as our decimal number. Someone was asking, how do we get the decimal number? Who is that? I hope you've been answered now.
Yes.
Okay. So when you move to 9, let me see here. So for you, when you're going to 9, what is the place value of 9? The place value of 9 is 10ths. So what we do to get the value of 9, we multiply 1 out of 10. When you multiply 9 times 1 out of 10, you get 9 out of 10. But 10 has only 1 0, yes? That means our decimal number will be 1, only one place, one decimal place, and only. So for you to write it as a decimal number, it will have 1 point. Who can tell us that number? Who can tell us 9 out of 10 in a decimal number? Yes, Esther.
It is 0.01.
Remember, we have the denominator, the numerator is 9 out of 10. 10 has only 1 0. That means after the decimal point, we shall have only 1 digit. So who can guess? Who can guess the
0.09. 0.09. 09.
No, it is 0.9. It is 0.9. 1 0 as the denominator on the denominator. So 1 0 stands for 1 digit, and that digit will be replaced by our. So can give us the value.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
How did you get that answer?
How did the answer? We have 9 out of 10. Yes. So for us to get answer, for us to get the answer here, yes, check your denominator. It has only 1 0 for 1 digit. You write 0 to stand for the whole number. You come here and check how many digits do I have on the denominator. How many zeros do I have? I have 1 0. And a 0 shows you how many digits you need after the decimal point. 1 0, 1 digit. Yes? Now that digit, you don't need to put a 0 there. Come to your numerator, pick your numerator and put it down there. So it will be 0.9. Have you been answered, my friend?
Yes.
Esther, your hand is up. Do you have a question?
No, I'm just removing my hand.
Okay. Nasha, Justin, you're quiet. I want you to say something. So who can tell me, how can we get the value of 2? Value of 2 can give us the value of 2.
Me, teacher. Teacher, me.
Hey, teacher. There's no.
Nasha, I'm waiting for your response.
No. There.
Nasha, I'm still waiting for your response.
By multiplying 2 times 1.
Good. So the answer will be
2.
good. So that will be the value of 2. Then for 7, the value of 7, we shall multiply we shall multiply 7 times its place value, which is 10, and that will be 7 times 10, giving us 70.
7.
Good. So let us see something here. We are going to try out this work. We are going to try to find the value of each digit in the numbers below. Feel free to ask. My number has been put there. Ask, I'll explain to you, and we see that at least we pick up something, okay? We are going to try out these numbers here, and I will wait for feedback. So someone has a question about this? Nasha, do you have a question?
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes.
Excuse me, teacher. If
You're
we are
excused?
activity, should we write all from tens to hundreds?
If you're doing the activity, you can just actually, the best way, because if you're going to send, you may not be in position to arrange that work like the way I've been doing it. You can just take pictures of your work and send them. Then writing from tens to hundreds, it depends on the digits they've given you.
Okay.
Yes. Anyone with a question, Samantha?
No.
Okay. Buyinza, do you have a question?
No, teacher.
You have a question?
No, teacher.
Okay, will you be in position to do this activity?
Yes, teacher.
Good.
Yes,
Joshua, will
teacher.
you be in position to do the work? Joshua?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll be glad if I receive the feedback. So there is also this work here. I wanted us also to see something small here before just revising, because this one is a very simple thing. Writing the small numbers in words. And for this one here, one thing we should just do is to give them place values, yes? And I hope right now everyone can give place values, okay? So what you do, you draw your place value table very well, you give place values to different digits. Like we have, right, the following in words, and the first example is 9.8. So what we do, we give them place values. After the decimal point, we start with 10ths. For the decimal point, so giving them, this is replaced by the word and. We don't write it again as point. This time around, when we are writing in words, we write it as and. So what we do, you write 9 the way it is. 9 point becomes and. 8, you write the word 8. If there are many other digits, you write them all together. So you write 8, and you write the place value of 8 there. Yes? And this is how best we can write it. So we write it as 9 and 8 tenths. This is how we can write a decimal number in words. So that's how we can write it in words. Yeah, Lynette, I've seen it. I'm going to send all the slides we've used for this work. I'm going to put them in the group. Make sure from here, visit our WhatsApp group and check the work.
Yes.
I'm going to put the work there. Want to interact with this work, give this work more time, understand it, try it in your own time, so that when we come here next time, things are just wow, okay? Then we can also check something else here, because I know this one we have some idea about it. We have 0.25. We give them place values, but now this time around when we are writing in words, you look at under ones, we have a 0 there. Can you write 0 and can 0 represent anything? So we shall ignore this 0 here because there is no digit before that 0. Yes? So we shall leave it out. Then we move to after the decimal point. What do we have? We have 2, 5. So what we do, we read digits together. We read them as 25. But we have to put there the name of the place where the last digit is. And the name of that place is hundredths. So we shall write as 25 hundredths. We write hundredths because it's the last place value of our number. How best we can. We can also see another one here. We have 398.003. So what we do, we give place values to all the digits. We have 8 under ones, 9 under tens, and 3 under hundreds. And we all know that this number here is read as a whole. Yes?
Excuse me.
As a whole. So what do we do? Yes, please. Someone saying something?
I'm not understanding.
Okay.
How we are
This number here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what you do, the number before the decimal point, you read it at once. So can you read this number here, 398? Can you read it?
399.
You saying 9? As if I'm saying 8. Can you
9.
390? It's 98, yes? So after reading that one.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes?
You wrote
Yes, please.
99.
You read 99.
What? I've seen it. I'm so sorry. Let me also put that one right. Let me also put that one right here. Let it be an. So when you're reading that number, before the decimal point, you read the whole of it, yes? When you reach the decimal point, you read the decimal point as and, yes? You use and to represent the decimal point. So this number here is 390. Again, there is 80. It have just changed it. Let me change it also here. 399, yes? So from there, after writing that number, you go to the next part, is the decimal point. You put and, yes? Then you go here and you have ignore it. Under 100, you have a 0. You take that 3, write it as 3, and its place value, which is thousands. Pick something there. Friends. Nasha, are we together?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to share this work. I want you to interact with it, yes? You're going to interact with it and try out different, you can even still create your own number. You do them, you try out them, and make sure ask.
Excuse me, teacher.
Where you need challenge, you call me.
Excuse me,
Ask
teacher.
me. Yes, please.
Are we going to do the work when you're still on the Zoom meeting?
And now you're going to do it later on, so you will have to either put the question in the group or you me.
Copy.
Okay, teacher.
Okay. I'll be glad to receive the feedback. I'll be so glad to meet the feedback. Ask where you meet a challenge, I'm available, so that we can do something better and build our mathematics.
Right away.
Okay? You build your mathematics. This is the work in the group. We'll share. And that's all I have for you today.
Excuse me, teacher.
Thank you for attending.
Excuse me, teacher. Excuse me, teacher. Oh,
Yes, you're excused.
Excuse
Yes,
me, teacher. I've
please.
not copied the work.
Yes, please.
I'm
I'm going to send the
work-
slides. You'll copy from the group.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to share this very work in the group. So you'll be in position to copy and not to
When did they throw it? It was
Someone is saying something. Bye-bye. Thank you for attending. Thank you for participating. Have a nice day.
Thank you for teaching.
You're welcome.
Thank you, teacher, for teaching.
You are welcome.
Thank you, teacher, for teaching us. May God
You
bless
are
you.
welcome.
Teacher, for
Thank you
teaching
for
us.
attending.
Thank you, teacher, for teaching us. May God
You are
bless.
welcome. Thank you for attending. God bless you.
God bless you too. God bless you too.
Amen.
God bless you.
Amen.
Bye.
Bye-bye.